is what it is. It was a highly disappointing loss for us. And we had our chances, and our defense kept us in it all game. We needed to put more points on the board in the second half, and we needed to make a stop there at the end at some point, and we didn't do it. So it's really that simple. I don't think it was the environment. I mean, we can sit here and talk about world victories and all kinds of different disadvantages, but we had our shot and we didn't finish it. So we got to find a way to get that done. We got to find a way to learn from this. We get good kids in the program. We got a really good staff. But that doesn't take the sting away. So, questions?
On your offensive series before Iowa's last touchdown on third down, were you kind of weighing out whether or not to run the clock off?
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know, you're at that point where you're saying, we've run it in spurts. You know, Juwan had a few good runs here and there, but you know, you're thinking you might have to put the thing in the air and continue to be aggressive and take a chance, even though the potential to stop the clock is there. But we were just having those conversations at the end of the game, and you know, field position was a challenge all day too, especially in the first half. I thought it got a little bit better in the second half. But if I recall, and I haven't seen the stats, but I think one of their we had them on the -2, right, at one point in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, and they were able to move it out there. And then obviously late in the game, the throwing game, when they went basically exclusively to the air, and that's when we started giving it up in chunks. We got a little tired. You know, we weren't able to get a great pass rush there late. And, you know, the two scores were the result of some technique issues and some mental issues there that I expect more out of our guys.
Coach, on that last drive, Iowa was kind of able to use the middle of the field for passing with no timeouts. Takes a little guts on their part, but is that something you guys were giving them consciously, or does it just work out that way?
No, you know, we were trying to make them earn everything they got, and you know, in 2 minutes, you'd much rather that they complete them into the field than to the sidelines if they're going to complete them, because obviously it gives you a chance to keep the clock moving. So that is something you consciously do, but we were trying to twist and trying to generate some kind of rush with 4. And we got a little tired there, and to the credit of their offensive line, we just couldn't seem to dent them there late in the game.
Why were you so successful against Iowa's running game, especially early on, which kind of deterred them from running most of the game?
I thought our defensive coaches, Kevin Kelly and the rest of the staff, had a good plan. We moved the front quite a bit. We pressured quite a bit, you know, what you would call run blitzes. And we were able to do a pretty good job on first and second down. And we got them into a number of third and longs, and to their credit, they converted a handful of those in both halves. But it was good to, although we held up okay against the run, you know, we didn't generate a ton of negative plays, but they had to earn every yard they got on first and second down.
Zach, Ball State's defense made plays, and then at the end, Iowa's offense seemed like it just woke up. What do you think changed?
I really think that you know, it came down to missed assignments at the end of the game for us on defense. The entire game we were shutting down, getting into third and long, like Coach Limbo said, but at the end they got us in the passing game, and it just came down to missed assignments.
Coach.
Yes.
Throughout the game, the offense struggled to get going. What were you expecting from this Iowa defense coming into this game?
They're as advertised, big, strong, physical, and you know, you got to earn everything you get against them. And this is an Iowa football game that they just played, and that is they don't panic, they stick to the plan. They're not going to give up cheap ones, and you know, they wear you down in the second half, and that's what they did to us on both sides.
It seemed like.
Sorry, no, look at my notes. That's okay.
It seemed like Ozzie struggled at times to push the ball down the field. How do you feel he played in this game?
I thought he did a really solid job of managing the game, and it was very loud. We had to adapt to that. I thought all of our guys did a pretty good job. We had one procedural penalty in the first half. You know, there were some throws that we made and some others that we didn't make. But the biggest thing was we were off schedule a bunch. And it's not easy to be a quarterback and be in third and long all day. I don't care who you are. You could be Tom Brady. If you're in third and long all day, it's going to be tough. So I think our inability to get into more third and short, third and medium situations was really critical in the game. And we had some penalties, too, that put us into some long yardage situations. In a game like this, it's going to be very little margin for error. And you know that going in. So every mistake you make gets magnified. So if it's a procedural penalty and it's 1st and 15, or if it's a hold and it's 1st and 20 after a good run, or if there's a mental bust on defense, you know, if you're playing a more modest opponent, you might not get exposed. But against a team like this, you have to play an extremely clean football game. And I think in all three phases, we did some good things and we competed, but we didn't play a clean enough football game to get a win.
What about getting pressure on Blue Dog late in the game?
Didn't get enough. And you know, you don't want to blitz and put yourself into one-on-one situations there late where you give up a cheap one. So you're counting on a four-man rush trying to get there, and you know, we twisted a bunch, but you know, their offensive line is a big, strong group, and we struggled to dent them.
Juwan, especially late in the game, it seems like holes just weren't there for the running backs to find. How difficult was it running against that Iowa front?
I mean, guys gotta get hats on hats. I mean, we did that. They were stacking the box in certain cases, and you know, we were able to get past the line of scrimmage, get 3 to 4 yard runs, and that wasn't enough.
Coach, I know there's no moral victories. You said it yourself, and
And
when
that's
you
part of the culture that we're trying to change at Ball State. You know, there was a time at Ball State where this would have been a moral victory, and that's not going to happen. We've got to find a way to win these games.
how do you? I mean, what method do you use to move forward? I mean, show them, correct them, and move on.
I'm very honest with our guys. Yeah. They always know exactly where I stand, and we got great kids in the program. We have great relationships between our players and coaches, and I'm the first one to put my arm around. And if something doesn't go the right way or go the way we want it to go based on our philosophy, our culture, they're going to know that too. And I think our guys handle that very well.
You see some similarities in what you're trying to do and what Iowa's done?
Absolutely. There are a lot of similarities. We're trying to build a program that can compete consistently, both in our league and outside our league. And that's something that Ball State has only had in a couple little spurts in its 90-year football history. And we feel like we're making decisions with a long-term mindset. And we feel like we're putting the kids' best interests first. We're redshirting a lot of guys. We're retaining players. And, you know, we're trying to build a football culture at the institution. And I think we're pushing that needle forward, but we still have a ways to go.
Coach,